Across our Puranas and Itihasas, we find numerous stories that honor the bond of friendship. The friendships of Sri Krishna and Sudama or Sri Krishna and Draupadi, the most talked about and cherished. Similarly, there is another unique story from Ramayana, a bond between a human and a bird. That's the friendship between Dasaratha and Jatayu. We all know that Jatayu was one of the important characters in the Ramayana, without whose help Sri Rama would have found it difficult to find the whereabouts of Sita Devi. What's fascinating is that Jatayu was actually the friend of Dasaratha, and Jatayu did not even meet Sri Rama till he was exiled from Ayodhya. In fact, Jatayu acted like a godfather to Sri Rama and ultimately sacrificed his life to protect Sita. But have you wondered how Dasaratha became a friend of Jatayu and why Jatayu values his friendship so much that he gave up his life for it? The friendship between Jatayu and Dasaratha was one of the iconic relationships seen across our Indian Puranas. The relationship is a shining testament to the proverb, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." The friendship of Jatayu and Dasaratha was so strong that Jatayu could recognize Dasaratha's son Sri Rama in the first meet at Panchavati. Not only that, he also honored his promise to protect Sita Devi by fighting a brutal battle against Ravana. Even at his last moment, he was murmuring Sri Rama's name and waited to inform about Sita's abduction. In this video, I shall share two possible stories about how the friendship between Jatayu and Dasaratha developed. When Sri Rama along with Sita entered Panchavati, they saw Jatayu resting on a banyan tree. Valmiki Ramayana mentions that the body of Jatayu was so big that it covered the entire banyan tree on which it was sitting. Due to the huge body, Sri Rama thought it might be a Rakshasa, since the Dandakaranya was infested with Asuras and Rakshasas. To clarify his doubt, Sri Rama asked Jatayu who he was. Jatayu instantly recognized Sri Rama and introduced him as a friend of his father Dasaratha. Unfortunately, Valmiki did not see fit to tell us how Dasaratha became Jatayu's friend. Even in our scriptures, there is no direct mention of how Jatayu and Dasaratha became friends. There are potentially two stories from the local tradition, but there is no direct reference to them in our Puranas. The first story is from Sri Rama Panchali, written by Kirtibas Oja in Bengali. This work is popularly known as the Kirtibasi Ramayana. The Adikand of Kirtibasi Ramayana narrates the story during Dasaratha's earlier days as a king of Kosala. Once Dasaratha's kingdom suffered a terrible drought. Dasaratha consulted his priest, who informed him that the kingdom was suffering the ill effects of Shani. So Dasaratha took off in a chariot to meet Shani and persuade him to have mercy on his kingdom. When Shani noticed Dasaratha approaching him, he feared that his gaze might kill Dasaratha. We all know the effect of Shani, right? Since Dasaratha was a noble king, Shani didn't want to affect him. Instead, he directed his gaze at the reins of the chariot. As a result, the reins snapped. Because of this, Dasaratha started to fall. Jatayu, who was passing there, noticed Dasaratha and saved him by spreading his wide wings and caught him. Dasaratha was pleased by this act and accepted him as his friend. In this way, Jatayu and Dasaratha became friends. In any case, Shani was pleased by Dasaratha's effort and agreed to stop the drought. Considering this story from the Kirtibasi Ramayana, a similar story is told in the Padma Purana. But there is no mention of Jatayu or even Dasaratha falling from the sky. I would consider the story from the Padma Purana to be more reliable. The second story is from Ramavataram, written by Kambar in Tamil, also known as Kamba Ramayanam. The Kamba Ramayanam paints a different picture. In the Aranyakandam of Kamba Ramayanam, there's a mention of Jatayu fighting along with Dasaratha in a battle against Sambarasura. I'm inclined to believe that the story in the Kamba Ramayanam is probably true because Sambarasura is a demon that is mentioned in the Ayodhya Kanda of Valmiki Ramayana. He lived in the Dandakaranya and had captured the throne of Indra. In a battle between Devas and Asuras led by Sambarasura, Indra took help from Dasaratha in defeating him. During the battle, Dasaratha was badly wounded and fell down unconscious. Kaikeyi, who had accompanied with Dasaratha to the battle, took him away from the battlefield and safeguarded him till he regained his consciousness. When Dasaratha recovered, he fought more fiercely than before and destroyed the armies of Asuras led by Sambarasura. Shambara got angry and transformed into 10 monstrous forms, attacking Dasaratha simultaneously from 10 different points. Dasaratha confronted the 10 Sambaras at the same time and killed all of them at the same moment. During this fight, the bolt on one of the chariot's wheel came loose and slipped away. Without informing her husband, Kaikeyi inserted her finger into the bolt hole and prevented the wheel from sliding away. Ultimately, Dasaratha won the battle. It was during this battle that he earned the name Dasaratha for the incredible feat of driving the chariot in 10 points simultaneously. Before this, Dasaratha was known by the name Nemi. It is also the same story where Dasaratha gave the 2 infamous boon to Kaikeyi for saving his life. As we know that this boon was later used to exile Sri Rama to the forest. Now combining both the stories from Kamba Ramayanam and Valmiki Ramayanam, it's possible that Jatayu could have gained friendship with Dasaratha during the battle against Sambarasura. We know that Jatayu stayed in Dandakaranya and since Sambarasura was also staying in the Dandakaranya and causing trouble to its inhabitants, Jatayu would have participated in the battle against the Asuras led by Sambarasura. But Kamban never claims that the meeting of Jatayu and Dasaratha at Dandakaranya was their first meeting. So giving a possibility of some other events which could have led to their friendship. Jatayu's unwavering loyalty to Dasaratha even after the king's death shows the depth of their friendship. Jatayu's commitment to keep up his promise to protect Sita Devi's life displays the sense of duty and honor. Above all, Jatayu was holding his life and waited till end so that he could inform about Sita's abduction to Sri Rama, shows his loyalty and sacrifice for the friendship. The friendship of Jatayu and Dasaratha serves as a reminder of loyalty, courage and duty, which is something that we can all learn from. Let me know in the comment section if you have heard some stories which tell exactly how Jatayu and Dasaratha became friends. If you like my video, stay subscribed. Until then, stay together, learn together.